ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. How you guys all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are live on a Wednesday night to talk about tonight's. Feels good to say that. I do like when I'm able to sit down and say tonight instead of like this past week. We're saying tonight. But tonight's extravaganza, tonight's special, AEW Beach Break 2022 live review. This show, of course, took place tonight, January 26, 2022, at the Wolstein Center in Cleveland, Ohio. The cold, blistery Cleveland, Ohio, 15-degree weather, of course, as it is cold. I was walking around outside at work, and all I could say was, "Sweet baby Jesus, it's cold outside." It definitely was, of course, cold. And of course, I know that for a fact because a huge shout out to my good friend Joe Miller, who's been a guest a couple times on some live reactions. He'll be on Saturday as well when we do Rumble live reactions. And shout out to him and the love of his life, Megan, as they both got engaged today in Cleveland, Ohio. Of course, though, he went up there to see a Cavaliers game, but he could have probably gone to this show. Well, I'm pretty sure this show would have been worth going to if he would have chosen to go there instead. But, of course, shout out to them. Happy for them for sure. Just glad that went well for them. Of course, a shout out to them as well. But Beach Break tonight. Let's talk about Beach Break. It was a heck of a show. And I was excited about this show. Let me get this capturing device just moving over just a little bit. There we go. There was like a little it's still showing a little bit. That's better. Excuse me. Okay. And also, you didn't watch any of my Rumble videos, well, the men's one particularly, I'm wearing my winter hat kind of like curled up here. Thought it had a little bit like a Sherlock Holmes look to it. But, also, apparently, according to my good friend Robbie One Kenobi, it looks like Joe Pesci, which I'll take that as well, except the fact I'm not a criminal like Harry Lime. And also, there's no fire going through my flame on my head either. But we're going to talk about Beach Break tonight, because I loved Beach Break tonight. I thought it was an excellent show. Two matches I was hyped for, of course, the most, which are both, side by side here. The Lights Out match, I thought really delivered really well. But of course, my match of the night, and so far an early match of the year candidate, is definitely that opener. That TNT Unification ladder match. Oh my gosh, was that amazing. I loved that match. I actually went back. What happened was I recorded my men's Rumble match recap and review from last year. And then, I ran a little behind, so I went downstairs and watched. I was only able to watch the last 5 minutes of the match. When Sammy did that spot off the top, like a swanton, going through the ladder. The ladder did not break, but I think Sammy took the harder fall on that than Cody did. But I actually, when I was done with Dynamite, with the help of my one friend, found the link to the full match online, and I watched that full match. I wanted to make sure I watched that match before I went live tonight. Let's talk about the show again. I thought it was an excellent show. Aside from maybe that women's match. That women's match was okay, but it showed that, yes, I appreciate AEW for giving fresh faces an opportunity, especially Layla Hirsch, but shows that they need a little bit of work. Just a little bit of work. But, we'll see where it goes with there. But other than that, phenomenal show. Again, we had two excellent matches. We had a great promo between CM Punk and MJF. I'm excited to talk about it. Let's roll in. Let's talk about it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's talk about, again, AEW Beach Break. We open up the show with, of course, the ladder match. Had we not had an unsanctioned Lights Out match, this would have been the main event. No doubt about it. This was AEW has a habit now of putting on openers that you just cannot top for the rest of the show, and this was another one of them. Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Undisputed Championship, since both Sammy Guevara and Cody Rhodes are TNT champion, because Cody was not able to defend his belt at Battle of the Belts, and so Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes had a match for the interim TNT Championship, and of course with Cody back now it's time to decide who is the true TNT champion. And this match was just awesome. You know, it started off slow at the beginning, some normal wrestling. Then it got more aggressive as it ventured out into the crowd. Of course, you know, Cody Rhodes was trying to be, you know, like, good guy Cody Rhodes. At the end of the match, him and Sammy did shake hands out of sportsmanship, but then after that, boom, the sportsmanship was out the window. They brawled in the crowd. Cody even also high-fived a couple of fans also as well, and thinking, okay, there's Cody Rhodes trying to be babyface Cody Rhodes. Well, we all know he's being a heel, and nobody wants to cheer for him right now. But is getting excellent reactions. And then, of course, the ladders started getting involved, and that's when this match just got crazy. We first had Cody Rhodes did a vertical suplex, a delayed vertical suplex, holding Sammy in mid-air. And Cody just, like, with like a trust fall look, fell off just let himself fall back off the ladder from almost the very top, which was first not just a sweet move there. We had that. We had a figure 4 leg lock through the ladder that Cody Rhodes had locked in on Sammy Guevara. A ladder was on upside down at one point. Cody slammed Sammy like into like the back part, like, you know, the part where the ladder bends in there as well. There was another part where Cody was like slamming the feet of Sammy into the ladder, and Fuego del Sol, good friend of Sammy Guevara's in real life, actually came out and like confronted him, and then Cody Rhodes basically just, you know, just said enough of this, and hits a J driller on him. And of course Cody had to tease a little bit of like a heelish side, of course, as of course he obviously was not the baby face in this match. But I think everyone's favorite spot was Cody Rhodes climbing up the ladder, Sammy Guevara climbing up another ladder. Sammy Guevara does a springboard off the ladder, connects with Cody Rhodes, and hits a cutter from the top of the ladder onto the floor. That, to me, I lost it. I was just like, if that spot alone is one of the spots, like, that's a spot like up there with like Edge spearing Jeff Hardy in midair while hanging from the titles at WrestleMania 17 TLC 2, or whatever the heck it's called. That was just unreal. We had that. We had Cody Rhodes hit a crossroads off of the ladder as well. Some crazy spots there as well. Sammy Guevara also hit the GTH on Cody outside the ring. And then, of course, the Swanton off the ladder into the ladder. But he bounced. The only thing was the ladder did not break. He bounced off, and it looked like Sammy had taken more of a bump on that than Cody did, even though Cody was the one laying on the ladder. But, again, and then eventually the brawl got to the top of the ladder when Sammy smashed Cody in the face with one of the belts, and Cody fell off, was knocked off the ladder. Sammy Guevara then went up and grabbed the belts, and he is the undisputed TNT champion. But, my gosh, like I said, early match of the year candidate. You think Sammy Guevara, Cody Rhodes. The first thing that always pops in my head, they were the first ever match on Dynamite. Look at Cody Rhodes already was a big star then. Sammy Guevara, you still were warming up to him. Look at how far he has come since then. And yes, it was weird the fact that he loses the belt to Cody. I'm not sure if the plan was for him to lose the belt to Cody and then to win it back, but the way Cody put him over. especially in this match, made Sammy look like a much more of $1,000,000 than he was beforehand. If Sammy was awesome beforehand, he reached a whole other level since. I told you guys probably like a year and a half ago, when they were starting to tease Sammy Guevara splitting up from the Inner Circle whenever MJF came into the Inner Circle before forming the Pinnacle. I said, someday Sammy Guevara is going to be a hot babyface. He is that hot babyface now. Again, if you thought he didn't think he was great before, and you saw this match, you're going to think a hell of a lot different. Especially, again, that cutter he hit. That springboard cutter. Again, I couldn't believe it. My jaw dropped. It was unreal. And Sammy again pulls off the victory. So there's definitely a lot of good options for Sammy Guevara for Revolution. I would say Malachi Black, but I'm not sure, because I'm not sure if they're going to have Malachi Black and Brody King to stick as a tag team for now, and maybe go after the tag titles instead. If they're not, because I still think there could be a chance they may do Sting and Darby Allin versus Jurassic Express. If not, well, I would then say you could maybe do Sammy Guevara. Jurassic Express and the House of Black. But I still would like to see Jurassic Express have a little bit longer of a reign. Again, I said, throw Jungle Boy a bone. Maybe give them at least till Double or Nothing. Maybe give them like another month or two with the belts. But either way, it would be nice to see either one of those teams win the belts, though. So, tough decision, yeah. Again, that tag team division is pretty stacked right now. But, yeah, like I said, just a phenomenal opening match. And like I said, an early match of the year candidate. Cody Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, undisputed TNT Championship ladder match. Just amazing. Also, there's also another spot, too, where Cody Rhodes had, chucked the ladder over at Sammy, while Sammy was in mid-air, which is a nice spot, too. But again, that cutter spot, oh, man, that was awesome. We then have Powerhouse Will Hobbs and Absolute Ricky Starks, the FTW champion, being interviewed in the snow. Remember, it's called Beach Break, yet it's 15 degrees outside with lots and lots of snow. See the irony there. They're interviewed, and then Willie Hobbs challenges Dante Martin to a rematch. And then Starks accepts a challenge from Jay Lethal for the FTW championship for Rampage. Wardlow then has a 2-on-1 handicap match in his hometown of Cleveland, and he wins with the Powerbomb Symphony. Squash there. We had a match with the Inner Circles, Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz taking on 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. This was alright. Like I said, it feels like this is kind of like a holdover feud. I know it's more so to kind of, establish a feud between Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston. Of course, that's a little tough right now, though, because Eddie Kingston's out with an orbital bone injury. Hoping he'll be back in time for Revolution to do Jericho and Kingston. But we'll have to wait and see. But they're teasing more and more of the cracks in the Inner Circle, as it looks like that they're starting to tease them breaking up, because it's looking like Proud and Powerful are starting to lose being on the same page as Chris Jericho. Inner Circle still gets the win, though, as Jericho hits the Judas effect on Matt Lee, and the Inner Circle gets the victory. So we'll see what they do, for the next couple weeks, especially if Eddie Kingston is still not clear to compete yet. We also have a backstage segment with Jurassic Express and Christian and Private Party, of course, with Matt Hardy, as Private Party are going to be taking on Jurassic Express for the tag titles on Rampage on Friday. Hardy makes a case for them getting the title match, and they'll fight on Rampage, basically. two legends leading to, young and upcoming tag teams. Then we have CM Punk. CM Punk making his entrance. Besides, of course, that first UFC fight he had with Mickey Gall, I immediately started thinking, is this the first episode of AEW in Cleveland since Punk came in? Because if so, Cleveland, Ohio, 7 years ago, no, wait, yeah, well, now it's 8 years ago. Wait, let me check something here. Royal Rumble 2014. January 26th, 2014. 8 years ago today, 8 years ago tomorrow, the 27th of January, is when CM Punk walked out of the WWE. It's when he quit. 8 years later, full circle right back to where the place happened where he quit. Well, not quit, but he walked away and made a decision that was very smart of him. Of course, I don't want to sound like I'm insulting Punk or anything, but this is where Cleveland, Ohio is the place where he made that decision. So I'm surprised, of course, there wasn't too much more reference to that. But Punk came out dressed, ready to fight. He says how it's been a minute since he's been to Cleveland. He's sick of hearing himself talk, though, and that's why he's dressed to fight. He wants to fight MJF. He takes off, his hoodie or whatnot, and he also reveals he's wearing MJF's stolen scarf. He thought that maybe wearing the scarf would goad MJF into a fight, but then he realized, you know what? Never mind. I can get 12 for $5 on Amazon, so they're cheap as MJF's excuses. And he thought maybe Cleveland was the right place to do. But he knows MJF will come up with some cheap suit and some cheap excuse as to why he can't fight him tonight. But screw it, he wants him right now in Cleveland, Ohio. He's not wasting time anymore. Out comes Max himself. He, of course, then pulls the crowd and asks if they want to go backstage and change into his gear and wrestle. Going him into a big cheer before telling them, not happening. He'll do one better. He will challenge Punk to a match next week on Dynamite in Chicago, Punk's hometown. You really think that MJF is going to actually go through with it without having some type of a plan up his sleeve just like he did tonight? Do you? He says how we're not in Chicago, we're currently in Cleveland, and the people want the match right now. They want it so bad, but they think they do. The match will be spectacular, but the outcome is going to be disappointing. Because the second that Punk loses, people see the real CM Punk. The one who will lose his fake smile. Who's willing to sue. Who's willing to say, I'm leaving wrestling again. MJ brings up a no-show from 2014 and addresses the audience at home, asking if we really think Punk cares about us chanting his name, because those chants won't stop him from turning his back on us again, and then crying about it on a podcast. Punk, though, says that the best thing he ever did was leave, and the best thing he ever did was come back. And if he didn't, MJF wouldn't have this brush of greatness. So go in the back, put on your boots with the 3-inch lifts, handle the business, because everybody knows you can't handle this business. He always takes matters into his own hands and never lies to people. He'd rather be him and try to fail than be MJF, talk a big game, and never show up. MJF paid to see him and stand in line and get his picture, his autograph, but how dare he put it on these people? He stands by all his decisions, and people don't love him because he wins. They love him because he gets back up and fights. Just like Cleveland, just like Chicago. But MJF questions that he always gets back up and says he wants to test it. And this is when the rest of the Pinnacle, FTR and Wardlow and Shawn Spears come down and beat him down. They hold him down and Spears whacks him with a chair. MJF tells Punk to get up and calls him a dumb SOB. Punk gets up and tries to fight back, grabbing onto MJF's scarf, but is overwhelmed by the numbers. And then they have him laid out, and then MJF then tells Wardlow to powerbomb him. And I'm thinking to myself, that face turn from Wardlow is coming. It is coming. And I thought, we're in Wardlow's hometown, Cleveland. He was very over. What if this is the moment where he turns on MJF? He showed some resistance. He did not turn on him tonight. And he did hit a power bomb on Punk through the steel chair. So the question is, yes, they're advertising a match for next week, but will the match actually happen? And will Punk, be 100%? Or is this a way to write him off until the pay-per-view to get more heat on MJF? We'll have to wait and see. But that was excellent. You claim hype up a match that Anthony Bones will have with Jon Moxley on Rampage on Friday. We have also a backstage interview with Julia Hart and Griff Garrison. And smart Mark Sterling rolls up and wants Julia to sign a release to wrestle Jade Cargill for the TBS title on Friday. Griff warns her, but Julia insists and signs the contract. Then we have this match with Red Velvet and Layla Hirsch. And I heard a lot of people give this match heat. I get it. These women are still kind of green. This heel character from Layla Hirsch is definitely new. But it was nice first off to see them actually give someone different a shot on like a, it's not, this isn't a pay-per-view, but it's kind of treated like a pay-per-view. It's kind of like a special episode. It was nice to see them try something different. It's obvious though to see that both Red Velvet and Layla Hirsch are still a little green and need some work. So it was fine for what it was. But it definitely, these two definitely, need some work. But they will get there. They will get there. Especially Layla Hirsch, who wins with a pinfall and a folding press. Afterwards, though, she continues to beat down Red Velvet until Chris Statlander makes a save and are continuing on that feud. So like I said, we'll see, of course, how that one progresses over time. We also get a video package of Malachi Black admitting he added insult to injury by bringing in Brody King. And he hyped up a match we're going to be doing next week, I believe it is, with Malachi Black and Brody King taking on, I believe it's Pac and Penta El Zero Miedo, as Pac will return for the first time since Malachi Black sprayed the black mist in his eyes. What else we got here? We had Sammy Guevara and Fuego del Sol doing a picture-in-picture cue card gimmick during the commercial break, hyping him up as the new the Undisputed TNT champion. Tony Schiavone was in the ring with a bunch of Pro Wrestling Illustrated awards to hand out. And he introduces the winner of those awards, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, who came out to a chorus of boos. And I'm thinking, wow, I really haven't heard Britt Baker get booed this hard before. But then I realized, oh, that's right. She's from Pittsburgh, just like me. She's decked up in her Pittsburgh gear, and of course waving a terrible towel. There was a couple Steelers fans in the front row with a big terrible towel that she had taken and walked back up the ramp with at the end. And I'm thinking, that's why. And she was savage. She was very savage on a microphone tonight to the Cleveland fans, saying since a while since she's had a chat with Cleveland. It felt like every time MJF and CM Punk had a mic in their hand, they couldn't keep her name out of their mouth. But of course now it's time for her to talk. She lists off her awards as Women of the Year, Match of the Year, her and Thunder Rosa's unsanctioned match at St. Paddy's Day last year, and Most Improved. She cites some sports business to rile up the crowd and says the women's division was a wasteland before she came along, and she didn't take anybody's spot at the top, she created it. She took over the entire women's division, surpassed the entire roster, became the face of AEW. She's made history again and again, and she's not going to sell until she's the woman of the decade. And might as well give it to her now because she's not going away, and she'll be the champion we deserve. And she basically was making jokes about Baker Mayfield's not, the real Baker like she is and whatnot, and just really trashed really trashed on the Browns for sure. And of course, people are chanting how the Steelers suck and whatnot and everything. So yeah, definitely forgot about, didn't even think of that reactions, but great segment by Britt for sure. And again, what a year she had. I still think they should wait till Double or Nothing though to do her and Thunder Rosa. I don't know who you would do at Revolution, but again, Thunder Rosa is definitely the one to dethrone Britt. But again, wait till Double or Nothing, at least to give her a year-long reign. That's all I'm asking for. We also hype up a match between Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson taking on FTR on Rampage as well. Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose come out though, and Nyla Rose challenges Ruby Soho to a rematch from their TBS Championship semifinals match, which will be good. I think that's going to happen next week. We also had a segment where I think we're going to have a Texas street fight between Hangman Adam Page and Lance Archer in 2 weeks for the AEW World Title, which that'll be awesome. Who will Hangman fight at Revolution? We'll still have to wait and see, but I'm sure it'll be good either way. And then we had the main event. Adam Cole, Bay Bay, and Orange Cassidy in an unsanctioned lights out match. It was an awesome match for sure. Some really good spots, of course. These guys definitely did good use of weapons with garbage cans, chairs. There was chains as well. Adam Cole actually smashed Orange Cassidy's hand into the steel steps, since of course that is the hand that Cassidy used for the Orange Punch. There was a Panama Sunrise. Not just Adam Cole hit on Orange Cassidy, but Orange Cassidy also hit a Panama Sunrise on Adam Cole as well. Baby. Some interference in the match happened. Well, first off, Danhausen, who I'm not too familiar with him, but he made his AEW debut in this match. We of course had some outside interference from Brandon Cutler, the Young Bucks, and Bobby Fish. No Kyle O'Reilly. He just became a father. And of course we had from the rest of the best friends came out to fend off the minions, if you so want to say. But the fight really picked up as it went up the ramp, and it even went backstage, and they even I think slammed Orange Cassidy through the table where Tony Khan and whoever his other assistant staying with him his name is, they threw a table there. They still used the weapons and brought some of them up onto the ramp as well. The match ended though when Adam Cole climbed up to the top of a post, and he was gonna jump off the top and hit a Panama Sunrise until Orange Cassidy snuck behind him, gave Cole a hug, and they jumped the both of them off of the top and crashed through the floor. Orange Cassidy pins Adam Cole and gets the victory to end the show and to pretty much end the rivalry with Best Friends and Red Dragon. It seems like, maybe, who knows. And that's the show. Now, a lot of people, and I felt like a dumbass afterwards, were predicting Johnny Gargano to show up to Beach Break. And I'm thinking, why Beach Break specifically? And of course, go after Adam Cole, as they were hyping up. I also realized that, they're in Johnny's hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. No Johnny yet, though. I mean, he did post out a tweet saying how he hears us and he's glad to hear that, people are looking forward to him getting back. But, he didn't say it, but right now, his baby's due soon. I think they're due sometime in February, but let him settle in being a father first, and then Johnny, I think, will be in AEW. But, he will work a lot of great matches for sure in AEW. I'm still saying him and Bryan Danielson. I won it in WWE, but we're going to get it in AEW, hopefully. But when it happens, oh man, that's probably my biggest dream match right now for Bryan Danielson, is him and Johnny Gargano. That's what I'm hyped up about the most. But that's Beach Break, guys. I gave the show an A-, especially because of that opening match. That opening ladder match was just crazy. We got a couple of stuff in the live chat. We got Tyler. What's up, Tyler? He gave the show a C+, and hoping WWE 2K22 is good. And he also says, who was that guy in the first part in the main event? That Danhausen? If you're talking about him, I'm not completely sure. He looked like a mime of some sorts or something. I'm not sure. And Go RTED said NWO for life. You got that as well. But yeah, it's 20 after 12. I gotta get to bed. I gotta go to work tomorrow. But yeah, that's my review of AEW Beach Break. Excellent show. I loved it. Gave it an A-, and an early match of the year candidate right here as well. Congratulations, Sammy Guevara and Cody Rhodes, for an excellent match, and for Sammy Guevara being the undisputed TNT champion. So guys, I gave Beach Break an A-. What were your thoughts on AEW Beach Break? Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. There's a new video I'm hyping up that I posted recently, and that is my video on why I believe Jon Moxley is a hero. Make sure to check that one out as well. Give that one some love. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content to my channel. And follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirBoy93. Until then, guys, I'll check it out. I'll see you guys in my next video, whatever that is. And I'll catch you later. Have a good night. Sleep tight. Don't do anything crazy off top of the ladders like a cutter like Sam Guevara hit on Cody Rhodes. And I'll catch you all later. Peace out, everybody.